Toastmaster. I was thinking I should have probably titled my talk Accidents That Turn Funny rather than Mistakes. Have you ever met anybody that's accident prone? They walk through glass doors, sliding doors in your home because they don't see them? Well, you're looking at a premier accident prone guy. I've been that way all my life. And I'm going to try to take you into my history and tell you a little bit about a couple of incidents that really turned ridiculous. I used to travel a lot, and I come home on weekends from long business trips very tired, and invariably I found some smart young vandal had vandalized my mailbox. We lived in Botany Woods at the time, and we had a prime target because the box stuck right out on Botany Road. And my oldest son at that time was about 5 years of age. And I was infuriated sitting at the breakfast table in my pajamas Saturday morning after a hard week selling chemic capacitors. And I said, I've had it. I'm tired of it. So I'm going to invent a new product, a rubber mailbox. So when they hit it, it bounces off. And I went to the mill supply store and I bought a piece of board and I fashioned a mailbox made out of neoprene rubber. And I thought, now these kids are going to have a real problem. It'll be a no damage event. And I had just bought a new Mercury station wagon. You remember those wagons with the big wooden, and they had big decals on the side that looked like wood. And I said, now Robert, I want you to sit on the right side of the Mercury and take this brick. And as I drive by the mailbox, roll the brick. He said, okay, Dad. And I ambled along up the street with the windows down, rolling by the mailbox, and yes, you guessed it, he slammed a good shot because he was a good ball player even at 5, hits the mailbox, boing! $2,000 down. My wife never got over that. Another event that was significant in my life was we were late one morning. Our son had just matriculated as a freshman. This little 5-year-old kid now is 18 and on his way to the city. And he called up his mother and said, Mom, we're having a big presentation tomorrow and a big parade at the Citadel, and guess who the guest speaker is going to be? Prince Charles of England. Well, my wife is an Anglophile, and she went ballistic. And so at 7 o'clock in the morning, we were getting dressed to drive from Greenville to Charleston to hear Prince Charles. And all of a sudden, I hear this racket in the attic. And it's the squirrels. They got back in through the opening, the air vents at the end of my roof, and they were tearing up the wood frame. And I went ballistic. And I said, I'm going to get rid of these squirrels right now. I've got time to do it before we leave. So I took my 22 rifle and I rose up the trap ladder into this dark stairway and onto the attic. Now there's one thing about attics that you need. It's plywood over the joists so you can walk over the beam. We have no plywood. And as I fired my 22 at a squirrel sitting up at this eave opening, blam! I slipped between two of the doors. And I fell 15 feet through the insulation and the drywall, which was the ceiling of the second floor of our house, and landed on the floor. At which point, my wife got the hives. She said, I can't go to the Citadel. Look at me. You crazy guy. How did I ever manage to marry? You're driving me insane. Look at all this insulation all over this bedroom. It's nuts. At that point, our son called to say, Mom and Dad, are you coming or not? And your mother described what his father had done. She said, in essence, son, your father has fallen through the ceiling and brought down about 5 tons of insulation and drywall. And he replied to her, he said, Mom, which ceiling in which room did he fall through? She said, your bedroom, Mother. He said, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. When the inspector came, the adjuster, to examine the damage so that we could file an insurance claim, he looked at my wife and said, man, I've been at this for 35 years, and never in my career have I had a claim like this, where somebody fell from the ceiling trying to shoot a squirrel and left all this insulation and other stuff laying on the floor. He said, I don't know if the insurance company is going to believe this. He may have to come down and give testimony to State Farm. When I got home, my wife informed me of this, and I said, that's crazy. They don't believe it? She said, it was unbelievable. And I had to give testimony to the adjuster at the State Farm office that this really happened. Madam Toastmaster.